Hi, welcome back. This will be part 4 to What If Deku Was the Shield Hero? And I am your host, James, also known as the Ogre Zerg. I will be going where we left off. Izuku was falling asleep and everything. And in this dream, he has like a weird dream again. This time, he's like the vestiges are like, have you forgotten the power that we've given you? You haven't been using it. And Izuku's kind of Izuku's thinking about this and everything, and he goes to reply, but at that he hears like Raftalia screaming again. So he's woken up by Raftalia like having another one of her nightmares. And in this one, she's like, "No, Mom, no, Mom, Dad." Like, she's like screaming and basically just having a nightmare of when her parents died. Sorry about that. So he's gotten a couple hours of sleep, so he feels like he can go on. And so he just spends the night like basically like rubbing her head, keeping her calm and everything so that she can sleep. And eventually Izuku does fall back asleep, and this time like he asks the vestiges, "What do you mean?" And then the guy with Black Whip was like, "You've forgotten, haven't you? Must be when you got transported from like our world, right? Well, kid, you've got to remember. You got to remember all the quirks and stuff." And Nizuku's doesn't quite understand. And he does, like, when he wakes up, Raftalia is sitting there and she's kind of snoring, and he kind of like goes over and like nudges her and wakes her up, and Reptilia's like, I'm sorry, Master, I did it again, didn't I?" And Izuku's like, you don't have to worry about that, Reptilia. Let's get up and you can help me make breakfast. So like they catch a couple of fish. Izuku had gotten some other stuff and vegetables from the town market. And so he makes them a breakfast, and during this time, Izuku's kind of just been looking down, and he's thinking, it's like, is that why I've been feeling so weird, like, since I've been here? Like, I've just had this underlying feeling that I had been forgetting stuff. And he really thinks about it, and he quickly realizes that about something like 6 months of his memory is gone. Like, he remembers saving Eri, but stuff after that is kind of blurry to him. Like, it's kind of a fuzzy feeling, and then like he remembers the book and everything, but everything up until he arrived in this world seemed a little fuzzy. So he kind of just shakes his head, and then Reptalia asks him, like, "What's wrong, Master?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing's wrong, Reptalia. It's just I've been thinking about some things." And then Izuku, he spends like a few more minutes, like about 30 minutes, like looking through menus, and he sees like automated crafting. What is this? And he doesn't think too much of it, and he's like, "Okay, Raftalia, you cleaned up and everything?" And she's like, "Yes, Master, I have, and I've also gotten the stuff packed up." And Izuku looks around, and he's like, "I'm sorry, Raftalia, I was deep in thought." And Raftalia's like, "It's no problem, Master. This is what slaves are supposed to do for their masters." And Izuku's like, "Raftalia, you're not a slave to me. Like, yes, technically you are a slave, but I don't think of you as property, okay? You're Raftalia. You're a person before anything else." And this kind of makes Reptalia a little bit happy, because ever since her parents died, everyone hasn't been treating her as a person. They've been treating her as a beast, but Izuku literally treats her as a person. He doesn't see any different. And Reptalia kind of asks, is like, so why do you treat me differently than others? And then Izuku explains that in his world there are people that are born with mutation quirks that alter their appearance. And people do call them monsters and stuff, but at the end of the day, they're still people. And then he kind of looks down. It's kind of like you. Yes, you have you are part of a monster race, but you also are a person. And it doesn't matter who your parents and stuff are. It just matters how you use your abilities and everything. Just like in my world, it depends on how you use your quirk. And Izuku goes on and explains his theory about quirks, that it doesn't matter what your quirk is, it's how you use it that determines if you're a villain or a hero. And Izuku's like, and it's like, in this world, most people think I'm a villain because of the stupid shield. But I still want to be a hero. I'm still a hero. And I'm going to use the cards that were dealt with me. It's like when I spent I spent my childhood believing I was quirkless, and then one day I had a quirk. So I guess this is just another thing that I have to work towards. Saving this world. And so, they pack up and they spend, the day power farming and gathering materials and stuff. And through this, Izuku realizes that he can have his shield automatically create potions and stuff like that. And I'm going to stop right here to do a little tangent. I understand that some of you who have seen the series, Izuku is going to figure out things about his shield faster than Naofumi, because like I explained in the last episode, Izuku's world takes place around 100 to 200 years after Naofumi's world does. From what I've seen from the material of the Shield Hero, Naofumi's world takes place during either modern times or the very near future, within a 50-year span of our present time into the future. So Izuku's world is going to take place 100 to 200 years after that. So the general education level of people is going to be higher than what it was when Naofumi was in school. So basically the college stuff for Naofumi would be somewhat elementary-like stuff for Izuku. So he is slightly smarter than what people in Naofumi's series is. Just by the general nature of improvements to education and everything of the general population. That being said, Izuku in our times would be considered a genius, but in his time, he's just considered to be smart, above average. So, that being said, let's get back into our story. So, Izuku says, he's been gathering herbs and stuff while they kill the occasional monster and stuff like that. And Raftalia is slowly gaining, more and more levels, and she eventually is... they spend a few weeks, I would say 2 weeks there. So there's a little bit more, there's time before the next wave. So after that, Izuku notices that she's gotten big, and their armor and Raptalia's weapon is kind of worse for wear. So this is when Izuku decides that it's time to go back to town and get some upgrades. And Raftalia's like, Master, I'm fine with my sword and everything. And then Izuku kind of looks her in the eyes and puts his hand on her shoulder and says, Raftalia, you've grown, and if we're going to get stronger, we're going to have to travel further away from the capital. And we're going to have to do some, like, abroad hunting of monsters and I need to learn more about this world. And there's something in here, there's something about the Cardinal Heroes. I'm slowly, like, I'm not sure if it can happen, but I need to travel to other places. So Izuku and Raftalia go to town, and the guard there, like, kind of looks at Izuku, and he's like, so you're back. You get anything good this time? And then Izuku kind of, like, tosses him 5 silver, because he's like, and then the guard's like, what is this for? And he's like, there's a gate fee, right? And the guard is like, oh, I'm sorry, I totally forgot about that. And the guard's like, isn't this a little bit much? And Izuku's like, just consider the extra 4. Consider the extra 4 as a tip for not being a complete dick to me. And the guard kind of laughs at this. It's like, well, you adventurers, you Cardinal Heroes, whatever. Church of the Three Heroes, fucking assholes. And the guard is like, and Izuku's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, that young lady there, she's demi-human, right? And Izuku's like, yeah. And the guard's like, well, one of my grandparents was demi-human. And Izuku's like, really? And the guard's like, yeah, I didn't inherit demi-human qualities, like, so I know what demi-humans go through. And it disgusts me how some of them are treated. And most of the people that treat them horribly are from the Three Heroes Church, because demi-humans worship the shield hero. And Izuku's kind of shocked at this. And gears slowly start turning and everything in his head. So anyway, the city guard that was on duty, he tells him, like, well, Shilifero, welcome to the city again. And so Izuku makes his way to the herbalist first, because he does have some medicines and stuff that he needs to unload. And he talks to the herbalist, and he asks, like, is there anything like health potions and stuff that I could possibly make, that could heal injuries? Or is there a shop I can buy stuff like that? And the herbalist is like, there is a shop in here, but their stuff is pretty expensive. I mean, they may have a book on how to make potions and potions like that, but I deal more in, like, ointments and medicines that heal sickness and stuff. That's not something I'm particularly versed in. And then Izuku's like, so what can I get for all this? And the herbalist kind of almost shits a brick, because Izuku just plopped down extremely high quality medicines and a few ointments and poultices on, like, the table. And the herbalist is like, how did you make all this in such a short time? And then Izuku explains that he kind of discovered halfway through their trip that because his affinities are healing and like, because of his affinities and, like, the effects, an ability of the Cardinal Heroes is that they can have their cardinal weapon kind of automatically, like, set up an automated system to use materials that he feeds to them to produce certain items and stuff. And he's like, well, I first have to understand how the stuff's made. And honestly, I do like making it myself, because it gives me a little bit of appreciation of some hard work. And he's like, I can give you 3 gold pieces for this whole thing. So I still haven't gone and seen what the conversion is of the currency. I'm going 100, 100, and 100. So it's basically 300 silver. So he says 300 silver. And Izuku's like, it seems a little low, but you did give me these tools and stuff, so, and the rest of people. So I guess I'll take it. And he says, good deal. And they're just like, so we're gonna be, do you plan on traveling abroad and stuff? And Izuku's like, yeah, I was thinking about that. But I need, we need some little bit of cash to get, he looks over at Raftalia and down at his sons, and he's like, to kind of fix up, like, to get better gear so that she doesn't get hurt. And Izuku kind of laughs at this, and so does the Earthless, and then Raftalia is like, Master Izuku, what, Master Midoriya, what's so funny? And Izuku's like, nothing, Raftalia, nothing, it's just... And then Earthless is like, yeah, it's probably because you've grown so much. And Raftalia iterates again, have you forgotten when we reach a certain level, we basically become adults? And Izuku's like, yeah, I didn't forget that. So they make their way to the blacksmith shop, and a lot of the citizens and stuff are kind of being pervy towards Raftalia because she, by all accounts, she looks like a pretty young woman. And they've been giving her free stuff, and Izuku's just thinking in back ahead, it's like pervs. And when they get to the blacksmith shop, the blacksmith is like, oh, young shield hero, you're back. What brings you here? And then Raftalia walks in, and he's like, is that little raccoon girl that was in here a few weeks ago? And Raftalia, it's nice to meet you again, sir. And Izuku's like, yeah. Like, I was surprised too that demi-humans grow that fast. And the blacksmith was like, oh, you didn't know about that? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of weird. But I guess that's just one of these things about this world that makes it pretty amazing. And so Izuku goes over that Raftalia needs, like, new equipment and stuff like that. And Raftalia pipes up, is like, Master, you need some armor too. And Izuku, like, enforces, like, well, I don't really need much considering the defenses that the shield gives me, plus my quirks kind of give me, like, a little bit better defense as well. And so just by sheer, like, talking to Izuku and Raftalia arguing with him, he's like, fine, I'll at least get some new leather chaps and, like, a leather top. And Izuku was like, so do you have any, like, good swords and stuff for her? And he brings out the gear that he does in canon, and he's like, for you, Shield Hero, I'll do 240 silver for the lot. And Raftalia's like, oh, come on, sir. There's no way that you can give us a discount, even if it's just a little. And she's kind of like, she talks the blacksmith down to 180 silver, and he's like, you sure are a shrewd business person, aren't you? And then she kind of looks at Izuku, and she's like, well, I did learn from him. And the blacksmith's like, wait, what? And they get their gear, and then Izuku asks again, like, where these towns he had spoken about before, and he's like, well, with the current gear you have, and like, whoa, your level's shot up pretty high. And Izuku's like, really? And Izuku's like, it just seemed kind of normal. And he's like, no, like, normally you wouldn't be able to, like, reach that level around here. And they're at Izuku's at level 22, and I would say Raphtalia's at level 25. So not much stronger than in canon, but because Izuku has one for all Black Whip, and he's going to start remembering other quirks that he had and how to use them. So that being said, this is coming up on 20 minutes. Discovers the Blacksmith. So Izuku thanks the Blacksmith and everything for all of his hard work, and he goes to pay for it, and then he gives the Blacksmith a little bit more silver than 180, and Raptalia kind of pouts at this, and she's like, "Master, that's too much." And Izuku's like, "Come on, he's a hard worker, and he's always been nice to us, so I figured he deserves a little extra." And Raptalia's like, "You've got to learn how to save your money, Master." And Izuku's like, "Fine, whatever," and he just gives him 183 silver. So Raptalia's stomach starts growling, and Izuku starts laughing. It's like, "I guess that means we should get something to eat before we head out." And I go to the inn that they normally get food and stay at, and Izuku orders the cheapest meal again, and then goes to say kid meal, and then Raptalia's like, "No, I'm an adult now. I don't need a kid's meal. I'll be 2 of your cheapest meals that you have." And the innkeeper's like, "Yes, ma'am," and basically runs off and gets their meals and stuff. And over the course of eating, Izuku kind of asks Raptalia, it's like, "So, have you decided what you want to do?" And Raptalia looks up at him and says, "Well, Master, you're probably going to leave, but until that day, I'm going to travel with you. I'm going to help you out. Because, like you said, it's easier for you to train and to defeat the ways if you had someone else with you." And this kind of makes Izuku smile, and he's like, "Oh, I'm glad you said that, Raptalia, but I was more than willing to let you go off and do your own thing." And Raptalia's like, "No, Master, I would never leave you. You saved me, you healed my sickness, you've even trained me, and you've been feeding me, and you've helped me out more than than what I can say to you." So they finish up. Izuku pays for their meal, and they head out on their adventure to the village that Naofumi and Raptalia go to in canon. So that being said, I'm going to end this here. I know this one's a little bit shorter than the previous parts, and I apologize if this one isn't up to quality, but I listened through some of these, and this is a redo of it, and it's the best recording that I have, I believe, if I've uploaded this. So that being said, thank you guys for all the support and comments that you have in the comment section and on Discord through private messages. Again, with the people that I've talked to and asked about quirks or abilities that they want to see Deku develop in either the izakais, there's a few of them that I'm going to specifically do for this one, and then I'm going to do the one about movement in the Cheat Magician. Or I may keep it in this one as well. So that being said, like, comment, and subscribe to the video if you haven't already done so. And see you beautiful souls in the next video.